They know that I'm not
Both got beards.
Gandalf,
Old men.
Yeah, old men.
Yeah.
Did you know Hollywood's golden age was filled with hidden truths? In this video, we'll uncover 20 secretly bisexual black stars whose untold stories will shock you and redefine everything you thought you knew. Number 20, Walter Pidgeon. Walter Pidgeon was the ultimate charmer, known for his starring roles in classics like Mrs. Miniver and How Green Was My Valley. He was the kind of actor who made audiences swoon. He played roles that radiated kindness, intelligence, and strength. But while his on-screen characters were open books, his personal life told a very different story. Walter was rumored to be bisexual, a truth he kept hidden in the shadows of the Golden Age. Back in those days, Hollywood was a place of secrets. If your private life didn't match the perfect image studios demanded, you could lose everything: your career, your fans, and your future. Walter knew this all too well, so he lived a life carefully split between his public persona and his private truth. He reportedly had romantic connections with both men and women. Those who were close to him in the industry were aware, but the rest of the world, well, they only saw the charming leading man. Imagine the pressure of carrying that kind of secret, especially when the whole world is watching you. But what about those who couldn't hide so easily? Let's talk about a star whose struggles were written all over his face, the unforgettable Montgomery Clift. Number 19, Montgomery Clift. If Walter Pidgeon was the polished gentleman, Montgomery Clift was the raw, emotional heartbreaker. Monty, as he was known, wasn't just an actor, he was a sensation. With hits like A Place in the Sun and From Here to Eternity, he didn't just play characters, he became them. Fans adored his smoldering looks and sensitive performances, but behind the camera, Monty's life wasn't picture perfect. Monty was either gay or bisexual, a fact he couldn't let the public know. Imagine being one of the most famous faces in the world and not being able to tell people who you really are. For Monty, this was his reality. He had relationships with men, but in the hyper-masculine world of Hollywood, any hint of his truth could destroy his career. Unlike Walter Pidgeon, Monty's struggles were harder to hide. He was deeply sensitive and conflicted about his secret life. The weight of hiding his identity took a toll on his mental health, and his close friends often worried about him. Hollywood wanted its male stars to be bold and macho, but Monty's true self didn't fit into that narrow mold. Then disaster struck. In 1956, a terrible car accident scarred his face and changed his life forever. Once the perfect leading man, Monty now faced cruel whispers about his appearance. His career slowed and his personal struggles grew heavier. Yet, even after everything, Monty kept acting, pouring his pain into his roles. His performances were raw, real, and unforgettable. Ready for the next surprising star? Let's uncover the life of someone who broke the rules in the boldest way possible. Number 18, Barbara Stanwyck. Barbara Stanwyck wasn't just a star, she was a force of nature. Known for her roles in classics like Double Indemnity and Stella Dallas, she became one of the most powerful women in Hollywood during its golden age. Her characters were tough, smart, and unforgettable. But behind her powerful on-screen presence, Barbara carried secrets about her personal life that the public never knew. Barbara was rumored to be bisexual, something that Hollywood kept tightly under wraps. In those days, any hint of being part of the LGBTQ+ community could destroy a career. Studios demanded their stars live a life that fit a perfect image, often forcing them to fake relationships or marriages to keep their secrets hidden. Barbara was no exception. Although Barbara married twice, whispers about her relationships with women followed her throughout her career. She reportedly had close, possibly romantic, connections with women in Hollywood, including her friend and fellow actress Joan Crawford. The two were inseparable at times, and their friendship sparked rumors that made the studio executives nervous. But Barbara never spoke about her private life. She was fiercely private and refused to let anyone tell her how to live. But what happens when someone dares to break the mold? Well, that's where Marilyn Monroe's story comes in. Glamorous, tragic, and full of surprises. Number 17, Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe wasn't just a star, she was an icon. With her blonde hair, dazzling smile, and unforgettable roles in movies like Some Like It Hot and 7-Year Itch, she became one of the most famous faces in the world. People saw her as the ultimate symbol of beauty and charm. But Marilyn's life was far more complex than the glamorous image that she presented to the world. Marilyn, like Barbara, had rumors surrounding her sexuality. While she was famously linked to men like Joe DiMaggio and Arthur Miller, whispers about her relationships with women have persisted for decades. Some believe Marilyn had romantic connections with actresses and other women in Hollywood. However, though she never spoke about them publicly, one of the most talked about rumors was her alleged relationship with her acting coach, Natasha Lattès. Natasha was more than just a mentor to Marilyn. They were incredibly close, and many speculate that their bond went beyond friendship. Marilyn's life wasn't easy. Behind the sparkling lights of fame, she struggled with insecurity, mental health issues, and the pressure to maintain her perfect image. Hollywood demanded that she always look beautiful, act happy, and hide her struggles. This pressure pushed Marilyn to her limits. Despite her personal battles, she continued to deliver incredible performances, capturing the hearts of audiences worldwide. What makes Marilyn's story so tragic is how hard she worked to be seen as more than just a pretty face. She wanted to be respected as a serious actress and fought against the industry's expectations. At the same time, the secrets she carried made her life even more challenging. Want to hear about another star who shook Hollywood with her secrets? Let's move on to someone whose story will leave you speechless. Number 16, Spencer Tracy. Spencer Tracy was one of the greatest actors of Hollywood's golden age. He starred in iconic films like Guess Who's Coming to Dinner and Father of the Bride, earning 2 Academy Awards for Best Actor. On screen, he was known for his commanding presence and effortless performances. Off-screen, however, Spencer carried secrets that only a few close to him truly understood. One of the most talked about aspects of Spencer's personal life was his complicated marriage. He was married to Louise Treadwell, but they lived separate lives for most of their marriage. While many assumed this was because of Hollywood's demands, it was much deeper than that. Spencer reportedly struggled with his identity and was rumored to have had relationships with men, which was a secret he guarded fiercely. Let's dive into the story of his legendary co-star and rumored partner, Katharine Hepburn. Number 15, Katharine Hepburn. Katharine Hepburn was unlike any other star in Hollywood. Known for her fierce independence and non-nonsense attitude, she wasn't afraid to stand out. With roles in films like The Philadelphia Story and Bringing Up Baby, she proved that women could be strong, witty, and complex on screen. But her real-life story was just as intriguing as her movie roles. Katharine and Spencer Tracy were famously close. The two starred in 9 films together, and their chemistry was undeniable. For decades, rumors swirled that they were more than just co-stars. They were deeply in love. While Katharine never married, her close relationships with Spencer was the subject of endless speculation. The fact that he remained married to his wife, despite living apart, added even more to the mystery of their bond. But there was another side to Katharine's story that few knew about her during her lifetime. She was rumored to have had relationships with women, including a close friendship with socialite Laura Harding, and rumored romances with other women in her circle. Katharine was fiercely private about her personal life, and she never confirmed or denied these whispers. What's clear is that she lived life on her own terms, refusing to conform with Hollywood's expectations of how a woman should behave. Let's turn to the story of Clark Gable, the King of Hollywood. Number 14, Clark Gable. Clark Gable was the ultimate leading man. With his rugged good looks and undeniable charisma, he ruled the screen in films like Gone with the Wind and It Happened One Night. Audiences adored him, and his title as the King of Hollywood felt more than fitting. But Clark's life wasn't as picture-perfect as his on-screen image showed. One of the most surprising aspects of Clark's life was his rumored relationships with both men and women. While he was famously married multiple times, including to actress Carole Lombard, in what was considered a fairy tale romance, whispers about his relationships with men have persisted for years. Hollywood's insiders claimed that early in his career, Clark had relationships with influential men in the industry, possibly as a way to secure roles in a competitive and cutthroat environment. Clark also struggled with his identity and the pressure to maintain his macho image. He worked hard to appear as the ultimate symbol of masculinity, both on and off the screen. But like many stars of his era, he had to navigate the complex world of Hollywood secrecy. Behind his confident smile, Clark carried the weight of expectations from fans, studios, and the media. Want to know about another legend who shook the foundations of Hollywood? Stick around. There's more to uncover in the world of stars, secrets, and untold stories. Number 13, Cary Grant. The height of Hollywood charm was Cary Grant. He starred in classic movies like North by Northwest and To Catch a Thief, with his elegant suits, silky voice, and sharp sense of humor. On film, he was the ideal gentleman. Everyone wanted to be like him. Benevolent on the surface, Cary's personal life was rife with secrets and mystery. Though Cary Grant married 5 times, allegations about his interactions with men persisted all through his career. Among the most often discussed facets of Cary's life was his close relationship with actor Randolph Scott. Living close for more than 10 years, the two generated rumors that they were more than just neighbors. Fans could see their apparently ideal existence in images of the two smiling by the pool or lounging at home. Hollywood insiders spoke about their relationship, but Cary never spoke explicitly about the whispers. The way Cary managed the great pressure of maintaining his personal life private added even more appeal to his story. Any indication of anything other than straight may ruin a career in the conservative milieu of the 1940s and 1950s Hollywood. Cary became among the most loved actors of all time and managed to preserve his image. But what happens when a star refuses to hide and lives boldly? That's where Marlene Dietrich comes in, and her story is one you don't want to miss. Number 12, Marlene Dietrich. Marlene Dietrich was a revolutionary, not only a star. Renowned for her remarkable performances in films such as The Blue Angel and Morocco, her startling beauty, husky voice, and unassuming demeanor drew attention from all around. Marlene disagreed with Hollywood's policies. Instead, she created her own. Marlene's unabashed embrace of her bisexuality was among the most revolutionary aspects of her. Marlene did not hold back when living truly. While many stars of her day hid their personal life, she had relationships with men and women, including actress Joan Gilbert and writer Mercedes de Acosta, famous people. In the conservative 1930s and 1940s, her assurance of being herself was unheard of. Marlene also questioned gender roles in startling ways for viewers. Though it was shocking at the time, she made her men's suits look elegant and sophisticated. Her audacious wardrobe selections were a statement she wouldn't fit into society's standards, not only concerning fashion, but everyday acting. Speaking of powerful stories, let's dive into the life of Anthony Perkins, a star whose struggles with identity shaped his incredible career. Number 11, Anthony Perkins. Anthony Perkins is best known for his chilling performance as Norman Bates in Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. His portrayal of the troubled motel owner terrified audiences and made him a household name. But behind his haunting on-screen roles, Anthony was battling personal struggles that were just as complex as the characters he played. Anthony was gay, but he lived in a time when being open about your sexuality could end your career. To protect himself, he kept his relationships with men hidden from the public eye. He even married photographer Barry Berenson later in life, which many believe was a way to maintain a public image that Hollywood would expect. One of the most heartbreaking aspects of Anthony's life was how much he had to sacrifice to fit into Hollywood's expectations. He underwent therapy to change his sexuality, a practice that was harmful and based on the false belief that being gay was something to fix. These experiences deeply affected him, and he carried the weight of his struggles throughout his career. Despite the challenges, Anthony Perkins delivered unforgettable performances that showcased his immense talents. His work in Psycho remains one of the greatest acting achievements in film history, proving that even in the face of adversity, he could generate something extraordinary. But Hollywood's golden age is full of even more untold stories, and the next one might surprise you even more. Ready to uncover another legend's hidden truth? Let's move on to the next star. Number 10, Joan Crawford. Hollywood glitter was defined by Joan Crawford. Renowned for her classic performances in movies like Mildred Pierce and Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, she came from modest beginnings to become one of the most influential women in the motion picture business. Joan was a myth who refused to be anything less than remarkable, not merely a celebrity. Joan's personal life was complicated and mysterious, though, beneath the gloss and will. Joan married 4 times to men, yet throughout her career, she was surrounded by allegations about her relationships with women. Her strong independence was well known, and many insiders said that she had intimate connections with Hollywood women. Though Joan had never verified the rumors, her relationships with stars like Barbara Stanwyck and others drew eyebrows. Joan's unrelenting drive set her apart from others, not only in her supposed private life. She put out much effort to hone her trade, even winning Mildred Pierce an Academy Award. But renown came with a price. Joan's reputation for rigidity and insistence attracted as many critics as it did supporters. She never let the rumors or obstacles stop her from realizing brilliance, though. But what happens when a star faces even greater obstacles? When their very identity puts them at risk? Let's explore the story of Ramon Novarro, a star whose life took a tragic turn. Number 9, Ramon Novarro. Among the great silent film stars of the 1920s and 1930s was Ramon Novarro. He became a heartthrob for viewers all around when he starred in classic movies like Ben-Hur, A Tale of the Christ, with his elegant appearance and unquestionable charm. Behind his success, though, Ramon held a secret. He was gay. That Hollywood wasn't ready for. To keep his reputation, Ramon had to suppress his sexuality during his profession. Back then, regardless of talent, being out gay could destroy someone's career. To keep the impression that Ramon was a straight romantic protagonist, studio officials even created fake narratives about his love life and teamed him with female stars. Ramon felt lonely and afraid in his personal life, even when he became well-known and rich. Though the Hollywood system made that difficult, he yearned for the freedom to live truly himself. Tragically, his life ended in violence. 2 men who tried to rob Ramon killed him in his house in 1968. His passing stunned everyone and brought attention to the risks LGBTQ+ people endured at that period. Let's turn to the life of Marlon Brando, a star who defied expectations and challenged Hollywood norms. Number 8, Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando changed things, not only acting. He rose to be among the most powerful actors of all time, with remarkable performances in movies such as A Streetcar Named Desire and The Godfather. Marlon enthralled viewers like nobody else with his fierce method of acting and smoldering charm. Still, his rebellious character transcended his performance technique. Almost unheard of for a Hollywood star of his time, Marlon was honest about his attraction to both men and women. He said in interviews, "Like a lot of men, I too have had homosexual experiences, and I'm not ashamed." He also hinted to having relationships with men. Though the world was startled by his candor, Marlon didn't give a damn. He refused to let society control his life. Marlon's resolve to defend his values added even more significance to him. Using his notoriety, he battled for other vital causes, including Native American rights and civil liberties. He was a voice for change, not just a Hollywood hottie. Ready to hear about another legend whose life behind the scenes might surprise you? Let's move on. Number 7, James Dean. The supreme Hollywood rebel was James Dean. Millions of people in classic movies like Rebel Without a Cause and East of Eden fell in love with his smoldering good looks and raw talent. Representing the restless energy of young people, he became the voice of a generation. James Dean had a personal life full of mystery beneath his tough guy facade, though. For decades, rumors about James Dean's sexuality have whirled. Though he was connected to other women, including actress Pier Angeli and Liz Sheridan, rumors of his relationships with men were equally well known. He allegedly maintained tight ties in Hollywood's male elite, including well-known producer Rogers Brackett, his mentor. Dean famously said, "I am not going to go through life with one hand tied behind my back," implying he refused to name himself and never acknowledged or refuted these allegations. James Dean passed away in an automobile accident in 1955, barely 24 years old, hence prematurely ending his life. Though it startled the globe, his death solidified his reputation as a Hollywood icon. Fans find great fascination in his rebellious attitude and enigmatic personal life even now. James Dean was not the only star, though, having a life full of secrets. Let's dive into the story of Tyrone Power, another actor whose private life was far more complex than it seemed. Number 6. Tyrone Power. Tyrone Power was one of the most dashing actors of Hollywood's golden age. Known for his swashbuckling roles in films like The Mark of Zorro and The Blood and Sand, he was a heartthrob both on and off the screen. Audiences loved him for his charm and good looks, but Tyrone's personal life told a much different story. Tyrone Power was rumored to be bisexual, a fact that was quietly acknowledged by those close to him. He had relationships with women, including 3 marriages, but there were also stories of his romantic connections with men. During his time in Hollywood, it was common for studios to cover up anything that didn't fit the star's carefully crafted public images. For Tyrone, this meant keeping his private life hidden from the world. One of the most talked about aspects of Tyrone's life was his time in the military during World War II. While serving in the Marines, he was known to be friendly and approachable, but even then his personal relationships were kept under wraps. After the war, Tyrone returned to Hollywood and continued his successful career, but the pressures to maintain a perfect image weighed heavily on him. Tyrone Power's life ended tragically when he suffered a heart attack at just 44 years old while filming a movie. His death was a shock, but his legacy as one of Hollywood's most talented and handsome stars lives on. Tyrone's story reminds us that even the brightest stars carry burdens that we may never see. Speaking of stars with complicated personal lives, let's turn to Richard Pryor, a comedy legend whose story is as shocking as it is inspiring. Number 5. Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor was a game changer, not merely a comic. Renowned for his innovative stand-up routines and remarkable performances in movies like Silver Streak and Stir Crazy, he broke through stereotypes for black comedians and rose to become among the best of all time. But Richard Pryor's personal life was full of difficulties and surprises behind the laughing. Pryor was candid about as many facets of his life, including his rough background and addiction problems. The fact that he later in life admitted he had connections with males startled most followers. In his book, he candidly discussed his sexuality, that he had had no qualms with investigating and loving who he was. Hollywood buzzed with the disclosure that he even acknowledged having a romance with star Marlon Brando. Richard was a trendsetter in comedy, as well as in how celebrities may discuss their life because of his candor regarding his sexuality and personal challenges. Some of his followers objected, but his bold attitude to life and art made him a legend. Using comedy to question society's preconceptions and encourage people to think, he wasn't hesitant to touch forbidden subjects in his stand-up. Richard Pryor fought addiction, went through several marriages, and later in life dealt with health problems. His life was not flawless. Still, he became a legend because of his tenacity and ability to make suffering funny. He proved to the world that one can produce something remarkable even in the midst of hardship. Ready to hear about another legend whose life behind the scenes might surprise you? Let's move on. Number 4, Rock Hudson. Rock Hudson was one of the most famous leading men in Hollywood's golden age. Known for his roles in romantic comedies like Pillow Talk and dramas like Giant, Rock captured the hearts of millions with his chiseled jawline, dazzling smile, and perfect performances. But behind the scenes, Rock was carrying a secret that the world wouldn't learn about until years later. He was gay. In Rock's time, being openly gay in Hollywood wasn't an option. Studios controlled every aspect of their stars' lives, crafting public personas that fit traditional ideals. For Rock, this meant the studio arranged dates with women and even a short-lived marriage to his agent's secretary, all to keep the public unaware of his true self. Rock went along with it, knowing that his career could be destroyed if the truth came out. Despite living in the shadows, Rock Hudson became one of the biggest stars in the world. His charm and on-screen chemistry with actresses like Doris Day made him a fan favorite. But his personal life was full of heartbreak. He had to keep his relationships with men a secret, and the pressure of hiding his true self, well, it took a toll on him. In the 1980s, Rock Hudson became the first major celebrity to announce that he had AIDS, a disease that was poorly understood at the time. His announcement shocked the world, but also helped to raise awareness about the illness. Rock's bravery in his final years showed a different kind of strength, a willingness to face the truth, no matter the consequences. Let's move on to Raymond Burr, whose life was just as fascinating. Number 3, Raymond Burr. Raymond Burr's most well-known performances were as the sharp defense attorney for Perry Mason and the austere investigator for Ironside. One of the most recognizable actors on television, his deep voice and authoritative presence made supporters feel like they knew Raymond Burr, but his personal life was a jigsaw puzzle that only few could put together. Raymond Burr created a narrative of his life over his career that was not quite accurate. He said he had lost a wife and a son in terrible accidents and had 3 marriages. Still, none of this really happened. These tales were meant to cover the truth that Raymond Burr was gay. Raymond shared decades with his boyfriend, Robert Benavides, who supported him both personally and professionally. Together, they managed a profitable vineyard and led tranquil lives away from public view. Publicly, though, Raymond never mentioned their relationship. He realized that coming out may destroy his career, particularly in Hollywood during the 1950s and 1960s when homophobia was endemic. Raymond Burr is exceptional in that he maintained his personal life while rising to be among the most adored performers of his day. His skill spoke for itself. He did not need to conform to the conventional definition of a leading man to succeed. His performances still today bear evidence of his talent and commitment. Let's explore the life of Cesar Romero, a man who hid his private life behind a dazzling smile. Number 2, Cesar Romero. Among Hollywood's most dynamic performers was Cesar Romero. He illuminated the screen in movies such as The Thin Man and as the Joker in the 1960s Batman TV series, with his perfect style, contagious charm, and inimitable laugh. Though few people knew about the facets of his life he kept secret, Cesar was very quiet about his personal life and never married. Throughout his career, rumors regarding his sexuality proliferated. Many of them held that he was gay. He kept strong ties to men and women, but never publicly recognized any love relationships. For the time, this was not unusual. Hollywood expected its stars, especially someone as appealing and in demand as Cesar, to seem straight and single. Cesar stood apart because he refused to let Hollywood's demands get to him. Though it meant keeping some of his life secret, he was confident, liberated, and seemed to truly love it. Both on and off the screen, Cesar's theatrical manner and audacious decisions earned him a darling among colleagues and fans alike. Cesar Romero left an impact in Hollywood, even with his secrecy. He was a celebrity who let his aptitude and charm define him. He did not need to conform. One lesson in resilience is his capacity to welcome life despite the demands of concealing his actual personality. Lastly, ready to hear about another legend with a fascinating story? Let's move on. Number 1, Greta Garbo. Greta Garbo was a mystery as much as a star. Garbo enthralled viewers with her beauty, brilliance, and captivating screen presence in movies including Grand Hotel and Anna Karenina. Her private life, which was kept under wraps, was what really distinguished her, though. Famously avoiding the Hollywood limelight, Garbo became known as the Swedish Sphinx. She shunned red carpet events, hardly conducted interviews, and quit performing at 36 years old. This silence simply stoked interest in her personal life, though, including her supposed relationships with men and women. Garbo was connected to recognized lesbian writer Mercedes de Acosta and actor John Gilbert, although she never married. Though Garbo never made public her sexuality, letters sent between Garbo and DaCosta point to a close romantic relationship. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed discovering these hidden stories of Hollywood's golden age, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more intriguing content. Don't forget to hit the bell for updates. See you soon.